All right, welcome to the Explainer. Today, we are tackling a massive, incredibly common challenge that almost every growing small and medium enterprise has to face, figuring out how to transform completely chaotic business operations into streamlined, automated success. Look, if you're a business owner, you already know the deal. Managing your inventory, tracking manufacturing processes, and trying to keep your accounting books perfectly balanced can literally turn into a full-time nightmare. Well, today, we're going to dive into some fascinating research and cutting-edge software data to show you exactly how to automate all that chaos.
So honestly, ask yourself right now, are you still struggling with the messy reality of disconnected workflows? Do you or your team spend hours manually copying data from one spreadsheet to another? The hard truth is so many business owners are letting manual data entry and disjointed systems drain their single most valuable resource, which is time. It's super common, sure, but as we'll see today, it's just completely unsustainable if you actually want your business to grow.
6. That's the magic, or actually, I should say tragic number here. Data shows that the average business relies on 6 different software tools just to run its daily operations. Think about it. You might have one tool for billing, another completely different one for inventory, a messy spreadsheet for expenses, some portal for GST, and something else entirely for your accountant. And the absolute worst part? None of these tools talk to each other. It creates a massive bottleneck that completely throttles your growth.
Let's dive right into Section 1, the cost of disconnected tools.
When your systems are disconnected like that, the hidden costs are just staggering. A lot of businesses spend up to 3 excruciating days a month just on manual GST filing, which is a universal headache, right? And they often lose out on actual money like unclaimed tax credits simply because their data isn't matching up. Now, basic accounting software works fine if you're just buying and selling boxes. But the second your business involves any sort of manufacturing, assembling, or processing, say you buy raw materials, add labor costs, and actually produce a finished good, you need a system with true operational depth. Your standard software just doesn't understand the complexity of a batch-driven business. Moving right along to Section 2, Mastering Stock and Manufacturing. If you're looking to scale up a manufacturing or trading business, you can't just track what comes in the front door and what goes out the back. You have to closely track what happens in between. To solve those complex physical inventory challenges, you absolutely need a bill of materials, or a BOM. Think of a BOM as a highly defined digital recipe. It lists a finished good and the exact raw components, right down to the exact per-unit quantities that are consumed to make it. By digitizing this BOM, modern systems can automatically calculate the weighted average cost of your finished goods. That means your cost of goods sold is always 100% accurate for your accounting. No more mental gymnastics on a spreadsheet. And this foundational recipe builds directly into a super efficient step-by-step workflow. First, you raise purchase orders. When those items arrive, you process a goods receipt note, or GRN, which instantly updates your stock and supplier costs across all your warehouses. Then, during production, your system simply follows that BOM recipe we just talked about. It automatically consumes the correct batches of raw materials and adds the finished goods right back into stock. Finally, when sales orders come in, you pick from the right rack and batch and it links straight to an invoice. It is a perfectly unified physical workflow from start to finish.
Which brings us to Section 3, automating the accounting grind.
Okay, so once your physical stock is moving smoothly, your financial routines really need to keep up. To eliminate that endless digital grind, let's look at some academic research. A 2024 study by Tieran Tudor and colleagues highlights robotic process automation, or RPA, as a massive step forward. Basically, by deploying software bots to handle those manual, transactional tasks, we're talking data entry, month-end closing routines, tax compliance, RPA scientifically reduces human error. It dramatically boosts your data consistency, which in turn vastly improves your overall ability to make accurate, fast decisions for the business. But wait, you can't just automate every single thing you do. Here's a really clear, research-backed checklist to help you identify which daily grinds you should actually hand over to automation. First, the process needs to have a rule-based, predictable flow. Second, it should be highly repetitive and voluminous in frequency. Third, the data must be digital and standardized. And finally, the complexity should be simple, requiring very little human judgment. If a task in your office fits this framework, like sorting through endless invoices or compiling routine expense reports, it is absolutely ripe for automation. All right, Section 4, choosing the right automation.
So how do you actually pick the software to pull all this off? I'll tell you right now, relying on trial and error with your core business operations is a recipe for disaster. Researchers stress that before you buy a tool, you must assess the compatibility of your identified processes with the automation technology itself. You've got to undergo a strict characteristics evaluation. You have to consider both the technological capabilities and the contextual factors. Basically, this means the tool must inherently align with your organization's specific, unique needs, things like your local tax laws or your very specific inventory workflows. And that leads us perfectly into Section 5, the ultimate SME solution. So, we're looking for a solution that inherently possesses all those necessary automation capabilities, can handle complex inventory, and complies strictly with the context of growing Indian businesses. Based on the criteria we've discussed, specifically ease of use, low pricing, and eliminating disjointed tools, the absolute standout recommendation is CredInfinite. The old way leaves you juggling those 6 disconnected tools. The new way, well, it positions CredInfinite Finance OS as a single, cohesive operating system. It completely eliminates that disconnected chaos by combining finance, operations, and compliance, all under one unified login. It's a real game changer. The seamless integration inside this ecosystem is just unparalleled. You have InvEx, which completely automates the full purchase, sale, expense, and invoicing cycle. Then you have StockIn, giving you that absolutely crucial multi-warehouse tracking, BOM, and production capability we talked about earlier. And perhaps most impressively for modern sellers, ECOMiGST gives you out-of-the-box e-commerce reconciliation for platforms like Amazon, Flipkart, and Mantra. It literally takes the absolute dread out of data matching and puts it entirely on autopilot.
Now, if you're in FMCG, pharma, or complex trading, CredInfinite goes incredibly deep into your operations. It lets you track batches, automatically monitor expiry dates using a first expire, first out, or FIFO system, and you can instantly generate barcode and QR labels for your racks and packing slips. It bridges your physical warehouse with your digital accounting ledger perfectly.
I know what you might be thinking. Well, what about my accountant? This is huge because one of the biggest friction points for SMEs is the gap between the operations software and the accountant software. CredInfinite actually uses AI-driven tools to automatically classify your GST and detect input tax credit opportunities. And best of all, it generates a tally-ready XML export in literally one single click. Your accountant stays perfectly in sync using their preferred tools, and it requires 0 extra manual labor from your team. And honestly, what makes this solution so incredible is the story behind it. It was built by founders who spent 15 years building finance systems. They lived the exact pain of seeing businesses lose money to disconnected tools and manual compliance. Because of that, they designed it to be highly accessible, with exceptionally low pricing and a free tier on every product. They even offer a 14-day free trial with no credit card required. It's designed from the ground up for you, the SME owner, to just jump in and start streamlining immediately. So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with one final provocative question. Are you ready to run your business, or will you let complexity run you? We've seen how academic research proves the value of automation. We've seen how tools like CredInfinite can completely unify your entire operation, from raw materials to final tax filing. Stop running your business the hard way. It is time to rethink your operational strategy and let technology handle the heavy lifting. Thanks so much for joining me, and I highly encourage you to go check out these tools for yourself. Catch you next time.